Right, hi. Just so you know, right at the beginning, this video is not about gay marriage. It's for entertainment purposes. And it's got absolutely nothing to do with gay marriage at all, as far as I'm aware at the moment. That would just really be to suck people in, because I think more people are interested in gay marriage than they are in what it really means to be a good, proper Christian. And I know you want to switch off now. You're thinking, right, I want to switch off. But don't switch off, because I'm not a Christian. At least not in the usual sense of the word, right? I'm not a hypocrite. Okay. So one of the things I wanted to talk about was that, and I've talked about it before, but I just want to elaborate on this, right? The whole idea of the written word, right? How is it possible that these people with the written word, right? They've got this religion called Christianity. They've got all these ideas written down in a book. Or, the guy talks in parables. He's not straightforward. So you've got to use your imagination a little bit to understand what he's talking about. You've got to, to understand the book, the people that wrote the book. So when he talks about like the Good Samaritan, for example, then we don't have Samaritans anymore. Does that mean it's okay to not be a good Samaritan? Where the other place people know the word Samaritan from in where I am in England is we have an organization called the Samaritans. For when people are feeling suicidal, they can contact the Samaritans, and someone will talk them down off the ledge so they don't jump. That's the Good Samaritan. Fuck, I'm just going to repeat myself, aren't I? See, that's the problem with doing the work. You end up, it's very simple. The truth is very simple. It's there's not much of it. Living in the truth is quite simple. So what tends to happen is when I talk about the truth, I'm just repeating myself. I try to sprinkle out a bit of like some other interesting stuff in my videos, but ultimately, what I'm really interested in is the work, and the work is about living in the truth, because the truth is just reality. It's about living in reality. It's about living in the real world, getting the real life. Is this the real life? Or is this the fantasy? Caught in a landslide, no escape from reality. I don't know the exact lyrics. I'm just ad-libbing there from Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody. Okay, I'm just going to make a smoke, because I did have something to talk about in this video. I thought, at least this is what happens when I'm a bit drunk. I'd think, I'm going to make a video about that. I'm just thinking about some stuff. By the time I've got all my video equipment set up, it's like I completely forgot what I was going to make the video about. That's probably why people should make notes. Hello, thumb up viewer. Hello, is that probably HRC? Just to guess, Anyway, HRC, if that's you, I always thumb up your videos now when I see your videos. It's blazing big joints. Okay. Well, it's nice to see you as well, blazing big joints. Oh dear. Yeah, I'm just going to make a smoke now anyway. you know, I don't buy cannabis. I'm reluctant to spend money on cannabis, BBJ, or blazing big joints. Rather, I don't like the sound of BBJ. So anyway, I don't buy tobacco if I can help it, or cannabis. You know, unless it's really, really good cannabis, I might buy some then. But anyway, I just go around. I go for a little walk in the morning. I like to have when I have my breakfast. I go out for a little walk, and I just pick up some the cigarette ends and joint ends off the street, and you know I get enough, so I don't have to buy it. I mean, I can go for months or years without having to buy it. Well, I have done since I've been doing the work anyway, you know. It's funny, this morning I just found, I didn't think I found much, but I had this one big sort of, like what I thought was just a tobacco cigarette someone had dropped, and I opened it up and I found it's actually got loads of cannabis in there. So I'm making my second little smoke of cannabis out of this one thing that I found on the street, and there's still enough for another one there, so I'm getting 3 smokes out of it. It saves me a fortune. It saves me like thousands of pounds a year. Enables me to have, you know, to make videos and buy all my supplements and do the work, you know. I mention it because one of the things about the work is to get rid of pride. Since I stopped buying cannabis, because I used to buy cannabis more or less every week, you know, just constantly had a supply. I didn't go and pick it up off the streets. But to me, I started getting interested in getting stuff from the wild. Yeah, I've got another beer on the just waiting for me, I think. I've got one more out there in the kitchen. Yeah, so I stopped buying cannabis more or less when I started doing the work, you know, around the similar time. And also because I think about it as like getting food from the wild, just the same as getting food. And my food is my medicine. You know, I just go out on the streets and pick up my medicine. I also went and got while I was out, because I don't just strictly, you know, I get cannabis from the wild. I get other herbs as well. I've got this sauerkraut on the go at the moment. I'm not going to show you. I'm building it up. It's like it's only that full up so far, but there's like 3 white cabbages, 1 red cabbage, and a couple of handfuls of dandelions. Not dandelion leaves. The actual flower heads. You know, the flower heads of dandelions this time of year. You know, they're great for. I've never eaten them before, actually, but I just got a big load of them and I just chucked them in my sauerkraut. Because I found out recently they're really good for you. And then what was this video about? Oh, God, dear. Let me just try and sort of talk through a few things. Okay, so the school system, how it dumbs people down. That's what it is. I remember now. Okay, the school system. So it dumbs people down, right? But people have accepted it. Now, why would they accept it unless they're already basically so stupid that they haven't got any free will? They're like they're basically not alive. They're not living souls. When God created man, when God created Adam, he created a living soul. He breathed life into him, and he created a living soul. So a living soul. This is why Christianity is supposed to be a God, a religion of a living God. You know, a living God. We're living people. We're alive. We're supposed to be alive. What it means to be a Christian is to be alive. You know. In that sense, smoking, like, you know, tobacco or cannabis or whatever, it helps me know that I'm alive. You know, gives me that a bit of extra stimulus. So I know I'm alive. I can think more clearly for a little while. Or a long time, over a long period of time, you know. I mean, I want to give it up. I can feel now this little twitch in my throat from like throat cancer or thyroid problems or something, like a little pinprick. Pretty obviously cancer. That's why I don't stop smoking cannabis and tobacco, to sort of keep it under control. I've had it for about 10 years, you know. So anyway, yeah. So you've got this school system that dumbs people down, right? Because in the back of my mind, there's this idea that the people who are running the system, running the show, are actually really the good guys. They're like the guys who have read Plato's Republic, right? And they know about the the shadow world, you know, the illusion. And so they play on it, they exaggerate it, you know, and so they force us to have a religion that talks about the truth, even though they know that people, when they get that religion in the written word form, in a sort of like specific way, they reject it. They reject all the ideas. They won't be real Christians. If you try to force Christianity onto people, they will reject it. But they will pretend to accept it. You know, they will become two-faced, essentially, right? Like those vampires in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. You remember Buffy the Vampire Slayer? You know, like they had those vampires, and they would, like, their faces would all change, and they'd get all these ridges on their forehead, and they would look like more gaunt, and you know, they'd look all pale. You know, they'd look whiter, and you know, they'd have like these vampire like fangs. That's what people are like. That's what all these Christians, people that call themselves Christians, the vast majority of people, that's what they're like. They're all like vampires, you know. Okay, so what if the school system, what it's actually telling you, because actions speak louder than words, they don't tell you what it's all about, right? You have to understand it in terms of what they don't tell you, you know. You look around, you use your eyes, you look around, and you see that all these people that call themselves Christians are not acting like Christians. They're not acting like Christ, not even nearly. They're not even pretending to act like Christ. They're just calling themselves Christians, you know. So what's it all about? Okay, I'm going to take my time with this because I want to get it right, right? So just bear with me if you can. Sure, I've got another beer somewhere here. Okay, so what if, right? they're the good guys. The people who are doing all the crop spraying, putting fluoride in the toothpaste and that, and mercury in people's mouths. What if these are actually the good guys? I mean, it's good to sort of try and entertain. A sign of intelligence is that you can entertain an idea. Hi, Shiny Beast. I'll get back to you on that. So what if they're the good guys? What if these people are the good guys? I mean, they've been pushing Christianity. It's got the right ideas, hasn't it? It's got the right ideas, telling us what to do and how to do the right thing, how to live the right way, and they've forced it onto us. But people are still not living the right way, right? So when you go into a school system that's designed to dumb you down, for me, what happens is that my alarm bells, my internal alarm bell starts going off. It's going ding, ling, 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 ling. This is a red alert. Red alert. All hands on deck. We're at war. There's a war going on. That's what the message is. When I first went to school, there is a big war. It's bigger than you can imagine. We've had to dumb everybody down in order to fight this war. You are the infantry. You are the first line of defense. You have to fight the bad guys, because there's only a few of us left who know what's going on, and so we've had to put in some drastic measures, draconian measures, to help to try and carry on fighting this war. Now, war is an interesting article to contemplate, because if you think about how people start wars, if you imagine a world full of more or less peaceful humans, right, all living in harmony with nature, and then one, for some reason or other, they get a little bit, they maybe got some sort of disease, running riot, some sort of little plague, that's sort of decimating their populations, and they're, and then their neighbours see them. Hello, HRC. Their neighbours see them and sort of think, right, we can take advantage of this. Let's just go in and kill all their warriors and big guys, the men, kill them all, and rape all the women and take over their land and all their animals, right? Now, once they do that, everyone who goes into this war, into this army, they all get like a farm, and a wife or a couple of wives, and some slaves and loads of animals and stuff. So they're straight away doing really well. They're onto a good thing. So they sort of, they use all this energy that they've got, that they've acquired, to develop their weapons technology, so that their children can then go off and fight more wars and take over more land, even though the people aren't asking for it. They just got time on their hands, so they develop their weapons. They make more, they start thinking about, how do we kill more people? How do we go to war? And then what happens is it spreads. This idea of war spreads, and because it's so successful to start with, everyone else starts to join in, and everyone becomes like warlike, because that's the only way to survive. If you want to survive, if you want to keep your culture, you have to become warlike. So everybody has to become warlike, and before you know it, the whole world is full of warlike people. Right? Oh, right. Okay, HRC. Not today. Maybe ask Shiny Beast. Or Blazing Big Joints. Maybe they're more interested. I don't know why I called it gay marriage. Actually, I just thought I thought that's what it was. It would attract attention because I said right at the beginning of the video. You know, I knew I'd have to. I knew I'd have to sort of like mention this again throughout the video. You guys are cracking me up. That's funny. But I knew I'd have to keep explaining this to people. You know, it's like it was just a publicity stunt. That's all it was. You know. I've got my work. You know, I do the work. I'm not interested in those sort of things. You know. Or at least not publicly anyway, you know. So anyway, these people that are running the show, maybe they're the good guys. Taking slaves, did I? Yeah, of course. No, I didn't forget about that. I thought it was obvious. I thought it was implicit. And because I've got such highbrow viewers like you, HRC, I knew you would know this anyway, so I didn't have to mention it. I'm sure everyone else here, you know, already understood that. It was implicit, you know. The other thing about Christianity, just to go back to that subject again, it's like Moses, you know, he killed the taskmasters. I mean, all this, what do they call it? Planned obsolescence. You know, making the light bulbs only last 3 days or 1,000 hours. You know, I've got some light bulbs here. They last 1,000 hours. I mean, what's that? So a few weeks, isn't it? You know, 7 or 8 weeks or something, 10 weeks. I don't know. It's not very long. And they could make them last 100 years for the same money. So they make these light bulbs last like a few weeks, maybe a couple of years. So all these people making light bulbs, and you're all working really hard to earn money. Well, not all of you, because I know there's people like HRC who probably almost certainly doesn't work. And I don't work, you know, apart from doing the work, which is more harder than doing normal work, you know, and more rewarding. And, you know, probably better for the world. You know, so you know, apart from that, I mean, I'm talking about your matrix people, you know, people in the matrix doing all this work. They're working 40 hours a week, they're paying their taxes, they think they're good people and good Christians and stuff, but actually they're destroying the world. They're totally deceived. But how do we get rid of these people? You know, at least for a little while. You know, it'd be nice to get rid of them for like a little bit, wouldn't it? I think just for a few hundred years, you know. So why not poison them all with like mercury and fluoride and all this aluminium and stuff they're spraying in the atmosphere and whatever else, other cobalt or whatever else they're putting in the chemtrails and the aluminium in the cans. You know, I drink this beer. It's got all these little shavings of aluminium in the beer cans. So it goes into the beer and it's all going into my gut biome and it's like poisoning me. I shouldn't drink it, but you know, it's like I've drunk it for years. It's really expensive for me to buy as much beer as I'd like to in bottles. You know, the sort of beer I mean, it basically costs where I can get this for £1.50. So like I get 2 litres for £6. If I was to buy something in bottles, the equivalent, the same sort of strength, it would cost £12. So it costs twice as much money. You know, it's just a matter of I can't really afford it, and it's because of all this fucking technology and all these like all you people going with this planned obsolescence thing. You're destroying the earth by having planned obsolescence. Not only are you working 3 times as many hours as you should be for half as much money or less, you're also poisoning the world and destroying the planet. You by not doing the work, what you're doing instead is you're destroying the planet and working as a slave, being a slave when you don't have to be. That should be the number one upshot of doing the work, is that you don't have to be a slave anymore, you know, because you just have to stand in the truth, you know. When I had my money stopped, right, and I had to go to a tribunal and discuss my case, you know, my problems. I just basically I've done just like I would make a video. I told them exactly what I think and what's happening, and they just put me on this benefit where they said I'm disinhibited, which means basically that I'm natural. I'm too natural to fit into the world, you know. I'm like an animal. Like a wild animal that can't be tamed, you know. So they don't like me for that, you know. People don't like me for that because they're like tamed animals. I frighten them. I frighten people, you know, just by the way I dress. You know, virtually everyone else where I lived all dressed in dark blue and black, you know. They frighten me, you know, but I dress in like yellows and reds and pinks, and I frighten them, you know. We're all shit scared of each other, you know. I live in a nightmare. I live in a fucking nightmare. There's no escape from it. It's hell. I live in hell, and you just have to try and get used to it, you know. And that's one of the reasons I drink beer. And it's like I need to drink enough of it to sort of make myself relaxed, and so I can have a good laugh and I can sleep properly and stuff. Because otherwise, I'd be going out my mind. I'd be going fucking crazy. You know, this is why I'm making this video now at Easter time. So I'm encouraging you all to drink lots of alcohol. You know, be like Christ. Get some fucking wine or some good beer, strong beer, or some whiskey or something, and get it down you nice and quick, you know, and plenty of it. And the cheap stuff. Don't go for the expensive stuff. Get the cheap stuff so you can get more alcohol down you. That's what I say. And if you can get some like cannabis as well, and it's not too expensive, or you can find it or grow it, then that would be thank you, big blazing big joints. Cheers, mate. Get it down you as well, you know, because that's what all the shaman do around the world now. They've done studies about shaman all around the world. What they do is they drink alcohol and smoke cannabis. That's what shaman do, you know. Because we're in hell. Everything, all the sort of like the hell world has descended onto the physical plane, or ascended, or whatever. So we live in a permanent nightmare. This is hell, and all you can do is get used to it. And the wise man will eat ice cream in hell, even though there's fire all around. The wise man will eat ice cream in hell. So this is about the work as well, you know. It's about where we need to go with the work. We need to be able to eat our ice cream in hell, you know, while the flames are licking all around us. Everyone's burning in misery. And we're just sitting there all happy eating ice cream, even though we're surrounded by hell, you know. That's the work. That's what it is, you know. I know we like to imagine this like going to paradise and everyone's happy and that, but it's not like that in reality. In reality, we have to make do with what we've got, you know. You're stuck in hell, so you need to make your own ice cream, right? That's what you need to do, and eat it and just enjoy it, you know. Well, Shiny Beast, they say, you know, I grew up with all this sort of folklore that you don't actually hear nowadays. But when I grew up, it was like kids knew all the folklore. They were repeating what their parents and grandparents used to say, right? And they said that women are closer to the devil than men. Well, women are closer to hell and the devil, you know. They're closer to the earth. You know, men are more sort of spiritual and sky. This is like Chinese philosophy as well. Men are like yang, they're the sky, and women are yin, they're the earth. You know, they're the dark where everything rots down, but new life comes out of it. You know, whereas the sky it releases the rain falls, and it fertilizes the ground, so it gives the water that everything needs to grow, you know. But women are where things grow from. Women are like a force of nature, I think, you know. Women are a force of nature, you know. And it's nice to see you guys. It's nice to be having a nice chat with you all, and you having chats yourself and stuff. I'm putting you off now, aren't I? I just said that, and now you're all going to stop making chats. I just know it. I might as well stop this video. But I'm not going to stop it yet because I've still got another spliff to make. And there's other things I can talk about. Yeah. If anyone's got any requests about what we want to talk about, I mean, I know I'm an idiot, so it won't make any difference anyway. Anyway, and also autistic, so I'm going to carry on talking about the work anyway. That's what autistic people do, you know. They got one-track minds. Okay. That was nice. I found a little bonus. This video wouldn't have gone like this if I hadn't have found this bit of cannabis this morning. I didn't even know I found it, you know. It's unexpected. I just suddenly popped it open unexpectedly half an hour ago. Or 40 minutes ago or something. Suddenly realised I've got loads of weed to smoke. Which is always good. And I really like not having to buy it as well, you know. I seem to. The other thing I've noticed, if when you smoke, if you're a cannabis smoker, I know some of you must be, but if you get the same kind of cannabis and you're smoking it all the time, you have to smoke more of it to get an effect. Whereas I found that if you get lots of different types of cannabis and you smoke them, you seem to sort of like it's pulling you in all different directions, you know. So it's sort of, you don't need as much, you know, and you get a more sort of complete sort of effect. So I actually prefer, even if I had more money, I'd probably still. No, I would buy cannabis if I had enough money, but I appreciate not having much money and going and getting it from the streets because I get a nice variety. Oh, who's been making dodgy comments? Okay, well, I put show on both of those videos. Are they going to come through? Oh, yeah. Oh, I see why that got held back for review. Women are cattle. That's not very Christian-like. Gentiles are cattle, you're supposed to say. You know, Gentiles are cattle, not women. No, HRC, sheep are not cattle. Sheep are sheep. I think you've got your wires crossed a bit there. Christians are sheep. Gentiles are cattle. Is that right? I'm pretty sure that's correct. You know, it's the Gentiles who are the cattle, and it's the Christians who are the sheep. I hope that's straightforward and easy to understand. You know, because that's what I like to do. I like to sort of stand in the truth and make things as clear as possible for people. You know. So anyway, thumb up my video because if any of you making videos, I'm always going to just remind me. I'll go and thumb up loads of your videos, but you should be thumbing up my video because look, I'm doing a fucking good job, aren't I? I'm like a proper Christian who doesn't even call himself a Christian. I'm so humble that I don't even call myself a Christian. You know, I'm basically an agnostic, but I'm a transcendental agnostic. Thank you for thumbing up my video. Because, but if you don't ask people, you don't get. You know, I have to tell people these things. You thumb up my video, share it with some Christian people. You know, if you can't, thank you again for thumbing up my video. Share it with some Christian people. If you don't know it, if you don't know any Christians, just go and find some and share it with them. You know, I mean, the thing is, I'm already making the video. All you've got to do, you don't have to make the video. I mean, you can. If you've got loads of followers or something, make a video and talk about this stuff. Talk about all the hypocrisy. Have a laugh about it, you know. I imagine that's true, HRC. Yeah, the word Christian doesn't appear in the Bible. I mean, there's loads of stuff doesn't appear in the Bible that the Christians tend to believe, you know, about like, going to heaven when you die. Most Christians seem to think that, you know, you go to people generally. I mean, don't we all know, like parents who have told their children that when you die, you go to heaven. You know, it's like this sort of like wishful thinking paradigm. You know, oh, we would like to believe that these people go to heaven when they die, but in actual fact, there's nothing about that in the Bible. And even the mythologies that did used to use this thing, these ideas about going to some sort of paradise when you die, it was dependent on a whole load of you know, doing a load of really good stuff, you know, or dying in battle, you know, or something with your sword in your hand, you know, or things like that, you know. It didn't just happen to anybody when they died in their sleep, you know, or died of cancer or something, you know. It's all just wishful thinking. I personally, I don't think people go to heaven when they die. Or hell. You know, probably it's more likely purgatory where they go to. or they don't go anywhere. They go where they believe they're going to go. But I mean, there's different levels of belief. Actually, this is interesting. There's different levels of belief, right? You can say to yourself, I believe I'm going to go to heaven when I die. But that's your conscious mind. But your subconscious mind might be like whispering in you. What about when you like raped that sheep, you know, and maybe you're a sinner, you know. What about when you touched your sister that funny way, you know? What about the fact that you eat all this shit food that is like causing huge amounts of harm to innocent creatures, you know, with all these pesticides and stuff? So that's another reason why people don't do the work. Is like it's a lot of it is it's sort of like rings. It's you don't want to deal with the truth. You know, at the end of the day, you don't want to have to deal with reality. I mean, isn't that why a lot of people come on YouTube? You know, and what's outside your house? You know, all these like zombies wandering around trying to suck the life out of you. You know. Yeah, it's like it's hard to find. I find it's hard to find good tobacco. It's hard to find good weed, you know. So that's why I get it from the street. You know, I just pick it up off the ground and I just take what I get. God gives me, you know, my weed. I get it straight from God. You know. Humans are made in the image and likeness of God. That's another interesting thing about the work. You know, if humans are made in the image and likeness of God, then God must be made in the image and likeness of humans. So most of the time he's a complete arsehole and he's two-faced, you know. But if you get him on his own or her own, they can be quite okay, you know, and reasonably decent. And you might even be able to have sex with them as well, you know. Which must be a good thing, mustn't it? Oh, look, we've got a sniper. Hello, sniper. Where I live, there's loads of people who smoke weed, you see, and they mostly smoke it out. A lot of people smoke it outside, and they just leave bits, you know. And on the weekend, when people are drunk, they just drop it in the street, you know. You just go around for a walk in the morning, you know, just walk around the block a few times, you know, just, you know, for half an hour. And I usually find enough to last me the day, you know. And it saves me buying it. And it's not just the buying it. It's not just the buying it, because I don't like having to deal with like criminals. People that sell cannabis are like criminals, right? So I don't like having to deal with them. The whole atmosphere makes me feel uncomfortable, right? So if I go and walk around the streets and just pick it up off the streets, I haven't got to deal with those uncomfortable vibes. I haven't got to pay loads of money for something that should be able to grow in my garden. Also, you know, it's like it stops me being like too prideful. It keeps me a bit humble, you know, being a swooper, you know, a cigarette swooper, you know. It's like it keeps my feet on the ground, you know. I know who I am. I know I'm just a little humble guy. I know I've got my, you know, my username Rank Emperor, but That's why I keep it. It's sort of like keeps a balance. I've got my username Rank Emperor, but in my real life, I go and pick up dog ends from the street, you know. So I've got a nice balance going on, you know. See, SS Sniper Binky, I like to think of myself as a citizen of the universe, you know. You're looking at things in a sort of left brain way, right? A reductionist, the left brain, rational, reductionist, reasoning sort of mentality and consciousness. Now, I tend to be more right-brained, so I'm looking at the bigger picture. So I'm looking at a universal picture. So to me, it's what the sort of questions that you're asking there. Are kind of like almost mind-numbing, and so I react against them. I have to sort of go. I have to become more right-brained in order to balance it out, you know. Well, both my parents were from London, so if that, I don't know if that helps. I will acknowledge that. Both my parents and then my parents' families were both from London, so that's probably why I have a bit of a London sort of astounding accent. No, everyone offends me, but I appreciate people commenting, you know. That's why I leave my chat open for people, you know. It's always nice to meet new people. Well, not always, but it's sometimes nice to meet new people. So I've had some sort of like kind of like friends from Ireland, people that I've enjoyed company with anyway, from Ireland, and their humour does sort of cheer me up a bit, you know. I'm sure it's not all Irish people have got the exact same sense of humour, but I do find that. I mean, my family, on my father's side anyway, where my name comes from, spent time in Ireland. We lived in Ireland for some time, about 200 years ago, and then moved back to England. So in my DNA, I've got sort of like time spent in Ireland with Irish people, but we left again, you know. I don't know what that says about Irish people or Ireland. Oh, maybe he was probably attracted to the name of the video. That I just have to remind people, actually, that was just a publicity stunt, because what the video is really about is doing the work and being a real Christian, you know, what it takes to be a real Christian. And because it was so unpopular, generally speaking, I thought I would like just lie about the title of the video, just do a blatant lie saying it was about gay marriage, just to draw people in, you know. It's totally dishonest of me, I know. Oh, that's a nice icon, blazing big joints. That's like a man with a beard or a moustache or something. It looks like. Yeah. Oh dear. I should stop this video, shouldn't I? I've been going on too long. I've got nothing else to talk about. Yeah, clickbait. That's what it was. I decided to do clickbait. So, you know, there you are. That's how you've all been dragged in here. And I'm supposed to apologise. Should be. I would be a terrible salesman. Besides, anyway, fucking hell. I've no idea what you guys are talking about. I really want to sign off now. I feel like I just should be signing off, but I don't know. It's like, oh well. I'm a sinner. Yeah. Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, I was talking about that stuff about. It reminded me. That's right. Thank you, HRC. Because I'm an ordered sort of person. I'm a bit autistic. I like to sort of be quite ordered about things. So I like to have a conclusion. When it comes to the end of the video, I like to conclude it and sum up everything that we talked about. So this video, as far as I'm aware, was mostly not about gay marriage. And I entirely didn't mean it to be about gay marriage. I just dragged you all in, for clickbait reasons, just because I was like, and I wanted more followers and viewers, and I wasn't getting enough. I didn't know how to label my videos, so I thought I would lie. I would just copy what everyone else does on YouTube and lie through my teeth, So anyway, that's why I've got you all here, and and what I wanted to sum up with is that the work really, it's a lot of it seems to be about understanding that the school system is there to tell you that we're at war, right? Yeah. And that doesn't sound like a very positive thing. So that's why I called the video Gay Marriage, because that sounds like something much more interesting, doesn't it? Whereas that we're at war and we're told that at school, we're at war as children. We're being sent like arrows into the battle. That's what we are. If you're still alive, it's because you're still haven't reached the target yet, You're here to die for the greater good. We don't know what the greater good is. They haven't had time to tell us what the greater good is. They're so busy preparing us for war, so we just have to, the whole message is we have to be like arrows firing out into the world to sort of make more pointless light bulbs and fridges and those little vehicles that disabled people use to get around more easily, those little things with the wheels and the seat, that they drive on the pavement. So we're all got to be busy doing all these things because we're at war. It's really serious. It's a serious thing. We're really at war. We need to sort of understand that we're at war, and the war is against. It's a war against happiness. That's what it is. We have to be, because happiness is this great evil, that we all have to watch ourselves, because it can cause heart problems. It can cause, being too happy can make your heart, basically explode, So that's why we need to all be at war, carry on helping to destroy the world, and gradually, but quickly, in terms of generations. It's only going to be another probably 3 to 7 generations, and we will have basically made most of the world uninhabitable, and poisoned and stuff. So maybe you won't see all the benefits in your own lifetime, but at least you know that what your enemy is. You know, your enemy is happiness. You know, that's what you have to fight against. It's an ongoing battle to stop anyone being happy. Make sure that nobody is happy. You know, everyone needs to be prevented from being happy all the time. It's that simple. It's really quite straightforward. I don't even know why I need to make this video, because it seems like everybody's already doing the work anyway. You know, you're already sort of like miles ahead of me. I'm actually lagging behind. You know, I'm trying to catch up with you guys. You know, so thanks for bearing with me. It's nice to see you guys. HRC, my new friend SS Sniper Binky, Blazing Big Joints, and Shiny Beast. You know, not least Shiny Beast at all. It's really good to see you. I'm just going to read your comments before I switch off. Hang on a minute. I don't know what the symbolic of the Virgin Mary from Saturn. Is that like a stone, like a black stone or something? Oh, only 10 years? Gosh. Well, I've been at it for like over 30 years, and I'm still trying to untangle it. You must be, see, that's what I mean. If you're all really ahead of me. I knew when I was a kid, you know, I knew when I was young, you know, that I'm basically stupid. I'm too simple-minded and like natural. I've got like this connection to nature, you know, where I just feel like I'm an animal. You know, I don't understand all these other people with their fucking double speak and backward speak, you know. I don't know why people can't be straightforward. I don't understand it, you know. Sometimes I try to work with it, and that I just get confused. My brain just starts to, you know, just doesn't know what to do with itself. It goes into sort of like a sort of juggling mode. And I can't I need to sort of keep my mind like as one thing, so I can think clearly about things. But when I try talking to normal people, it's like I haven't got a clue. Just like my mind goes blank. I start feeling weird, and even depressed. You know, I generally avoid people. People fucking piss me off. You know, they frighten me. All you people, you know, the people that call themselves Christians, and you act like fucking devils. There's something to me. It just seems like there's something wrong with you all. You know, there's something wrong with the world. The vast majority of people just there's something totally wrong with them. So anyway, yeah, going back to the subject, maybe the the gay marriage supporters actually want us to understand that this world is totally fucked up, and there's nothing you can do about it. The only thing, it's like that thing about in Dante's Inferno, when he goes into hell, it's the sign above the gates of hell says abandon hope. Abandon hope, all ye who enter in here. It's like we're given a sort of system that is automatically almost like forcing us to abandon hope, abandon all hope, you know. So what it is it's like you have to look at it in terms of symbolic literacy. You need to become symbolically literate. You have to understand what we're being told, not through what we're being taught in the schools, But what we're being not taught, what they're not saying, you've got to understand it as a symbol. It's a lie. We're being given a lie, you know. So if there is a God, then God must know this, and God must also, just like he put the devil in the Garden of Eden, or the serpent, to tempt us. We've also got the lie given to us. It's exactly the same thing. When you understand symbolic literacy, you have to see this as exactly the same thing. So the school system, the government, the media, they represent the serpent in the Garden of Eden. So all you have to do is transpose the idea of the serpent in the Garden of Eden into like the written word, because this is what all this stuff relies upon. That's the sort of blood that joins it all together. That's its nervous system, the written word. So what you've got to do is you've got to transpose that in your mind to understand that blood, that written word, is the serpent. That's the tempter. So then you can make sense of things like verses in the Bible where it says that all of the scriptures are written on your heart. So you don't need a book, right? Because it's all in your heart. So if it's all in your heart, that's much closer to you. It's inside you. It's the heart of you. It's the very center of you. It's what you are, right? Why would you have a book? Especially when the book of Enoch tells you that you're not supposed to have a book. The written word is a great evil. And the Bible also quotes from the book of Enoch, which demonstrates that it's valid scripture. And also it says in the Bible, all scripture is profitable for study. Yeah. Go back to the tobacco day chair. Oh no, I think that's it then. Yeah. Okay, thanks for watching. Share my videos, right? But when you share them, tell people to thumb up the video and share them with someone else. Otherwise, they will go to hell, right? I mean, that's really what will happen. That's probably what will happen if they don't share my videos. And bye HRC. Bye everyone.